Shalom. I want to give all and today I'll be coming out with a lesson. And it is based on this picture right here. I did have something else. Well, I thought I was going to do another lesson, but this is what the Lord want me to do, so I'm going to do it. And it says here in this picture, it says, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. So we won't grow into who we are in Yahweh Shem Yahushua unless the Lord tests us. And that test can come in many ways. Those tests, I should say, can come in many ways. Many ways. But if you understand a jewelry making process where they cut stone and stuff, where that stone, that precious stone or whatever it is, being selected and then used for a gold ring or a silver ring or a platinum ring, hell, bronze, a copper or whatever valuable precious metal, that stone has to go through a process. Sometimes the stone is in a crude form and it has to be broken. It has to be chipped away at. But nonetheless, that stone has to go through a process to be polished to become a vessel for the finer. And that same process applies to us spiritually, because the Lord has to do that to us as well. We're those that gem, that has to be polished. We're that sword that has to be put in the fire and forged and made of meat for the use of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So without further ado, let's get right into it. This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12. It says, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. So the Lord says, don't think it's strange when He tests us, when he put us up against that grinding wheel, or put us in that forge, to heat us up, to knock out any impurities. Don't think it's strange when the Lord selects us and He has to cut off certain things to hew us, to make us the way He wants us to be. So He said, don't think it's strange, the fiery trial, the testing times, which is come to test us, to make sure that we are perfected in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and also to show us that we have a potential, or should I say that we are growing and that we are going to the next level. Because once we learn what we're supposed to learn and go into the next level, guess what? It's another process, and the Lord may have to cut off something else, because you're like, okay, it's starting to, you're starting to come into who I want you to be, but it's still some things that I got to do. So the Lord tells us, don't think about these things. Don't think that it's strange that we're going through these trials, because it is really helping us. Yeah, it's painful, proverbially, but nonetheless, it is not some strange thing that is just happening to us for no reason. These things are happening because it is there to lead us, to guide us, to grow us in Yahweh Yahushua. Let's continue. Sirach, chapter 2. Let's see. I'm gonna start out at verse 2. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. So when the Lord is trying us and we're dealing with a fiery trial, the Lord is polishing us, grinding off whatever it is that may hinder us from growing. The Lord says, constantly endure. Stand strong, be steadfast, and don't make haste in times of trouble. When things may seemingly be not looking well, the Lord says, don't move out of haste. Don't move and mess yourself up. moving out of haste in a time of trouble, because those are just really trying times. The Lord is testing us. He's trying us. He's added some things and he's taken away some things. You know, and again, you can refer to yourself as that gem that's being polished. The Lord gonna have to apply that friction. But we are men. So guess what? We're not gonna be perfected in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua without trials. He said he would test us. He said these things would happen. And they are going to happen. So you should expect them. Verse 3. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at that last end. So when the things that are happening, we're being tried, the Lord says, cleave unto him even more. Don't depart away from him. Don't walk away from him. So that we can be increased at our last end, so that we can be made perfect or perfected or made into that sword or that jewel or that vessel for the finer meat for the master's use. Verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So the Lord says, whatever is brought upon us, you know, like what it says, like the terminology out here in the world, take it on the chin, but take it cheerfully. Don't get mad. But sometimes it's easier said than done. But the Lord says, whatever is brought upon us, whatever trying times is testing us, the Lord says, take it cheerfully. Take it with a positive mindset. And it says, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So we got to be patient when we are changed to a lower state or a position of difficulty, because that's the Lord refining us. That's the Lord polishing us. That's the Lord maybe, knocking out any impurities within us, so that we can be a vessel for the finer. Verse 5. It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So gold is tried in the fire. When it comes down to jury making, you need fire. Whether it's silver, whether it's gold, or bronze, platinum, whatever material is being used to form jewelry, fire is one of the main ingredients. And fire is one of the main purifiers. Because again, I'll use an example and I'll go to my next point. Smelting. They take a bunch of metal and they put it in a giant cauldron and they put it in a furnace and they heat up to thousands of degrees until it's melted to a liquid. And guess what they do? After the metal is melted down to a liquid, they pull the cauldron out of the furnace and they scrape off all the slag, all the impurities. They scrape that off, and guess what they do? They put it back in the fire to further be refined. So that is what the Lord does with us. You can use that terminology. We are gold, and the Lord is going to try us in the fire. We are not going to be perfected without trials, because the Lord is going to try his acceptable men in the furnace of adversity, in the furnace of trying times, tests, and trials. Last point. Oh, I went too far. Oops. Let's continue. Salaki for the pause. Matter of fact, card. Rains, even give to every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doing. So the Lord, he's the one that tries our reins, our hearts, our thoughts. He tries us. And the Lord gives to every man according to his ways, according to the work that he has wrought in the earth, according to the fruit of his doings. So if you're doing the work of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you can best believe He gonna test you, but guess what? You're gonna come out a vessel for the final, and he's gonna repay you. He's gonna reward you according to your works and the things that you were doing on the earth. If you're laboring in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you're gonna get a reward. You're gonna get redemption, salvation, new bodies, a crown, laws in our inward parts. We're gonna be forever righteous. But guess what? We have to be that gem that has to be polished. And you can't polish a gem without friction. You can't even polish metal without friction. And just like a man can't be perfected and understand that he needs to grow and move, or become better without trials. So the Lord gonna test us. And it's just gonna happen. Shalom.